Hello, so today I'm going to do a character spotlight on Leah. She is a light backline defender. The ideal position for her is center back. So she is a character who is highly underestimated by the community because she does not have a line buff. So yes and no, it's an advantage because she doesn't have a line buff, she has better personal buffs, but it does affect people who need a very strong line in general. She's more going to be used in a line with multiple totems, and her job is just to penetrate out of there. So on a skill perspective, all her skills are mainly related to life points. Her active, the final one, is increased life points by 100% for 15 minutes. The second one is going to be increased her max life by 50% without it being an active. The third one is the reason why she needs so many life points. It's to increase her attack power by 3 for every 20 max hype. So when you think about her, at the beginning of the game, she's going to be useless. All you want is to have some high level managers. You want some hype line buffs. You want her to have her chains. You want a naze that increases life. And when you combine all of those things, she's going to have an extremely high attack power. And then her last skill, who in a way is derivative of her max hype, is increased attack power by 30%, reflex by 30 again, is not that interesting. But what's really interesting is recover her hype by 20% first. What does that mean? That means that before the damage is calculated, she will get 20% back. And knowing she has extremely high values, if you even have a little bit of damage resistance on the line, and as she has in her stones, we're going to look for counterattack resistance, she's going to be very strong, and she is going to heal actually when she's trying to penetrate. So if you really want to have something better in mid, what you can do is you can put her on the sides, and she's basically going to be a tank, able to take multiple shots without being taken out. Now, as I said, she is very hype-based, so Spirit Stone-wise, you're going to need a POL. It's going to make a huge difference. Again, stat-wise, you're going to want a bit of speed, defense, critical damage and raid are okay. They're not really what you're looking for, and pass effect is really not that great. I have more than one POL, but for her, this was the one that was ironically the best. Then you're going to need a green speed stone, not because of the speed, but because the critical resistance. Well, the speed is also great. The dribble it has, the receiving pass effect, because usually the goalie is going to be passing to her. The max hype is extremely important in her case, and decreased inflicted damage can never hurt. On a personal choice, I decided to put a light reflex. There are different options, but light reflex, knowing that she has a reflex increase, can make a very big difference. Plus, it's going to increase spirit, so that's something you always need, knowing that she will always need to do her active to be powerful. It lasts 15 minutes, so in PvP, you're going to use it once, but it doesn't hurt that she's going to get back already a decent percent by the time she starts. And closely, every time she penetrates the defense line, she's also going to try to penetrate mid because she heals. So that's very interesting. She will usually never pass the mid line, as that is a much stronger line, but she's going to at least damage the mid. As long as you're not against a Metatron, it's pretty nice. And in worst case, she has a very high dribble value, and she's light, so it's going to do a highly increased damage, allowing that after she passes to whatever's your mid, they might have a chance to penetrate Metatron. And then for her prime slot, again, she's based on hype, so you're going to want to give her a health stone. The thing is that they only have a single passive that's worth something. It's recovery power. It's very limited, but it's better to have some sort of passive than anything else. Again, those stats are not the greatest, but I was kind of limited as this is a rare stone. When I find some better ones, I will switch them. What you want to look for her is mainly dribble, speed, a bit of penetration, and the most important of all, life. Now, when you want to set her up in a team, what you're going to want to look at are her chains. So we are very lucky here because Scylla is one of her chains. So knowing that 99% of players use her, I'm pretty sure you're going to have her on your team. Ironically, for me, it's Lilith. As I did a video previously, I found a decent use for Lilith, but Lilith is what I would consider a niche player, so it really depends your team. I would just say use Scylla and link them, and it works, because increasing her hype and defense even more makes a huge difference. Now, if you're running a Latios, this is basically what would make her the most powerful in game, as it would increase attack, crit rate, Latios 20%, put a light hype ace, and she's going to become extremely powerful. Now, her rival chains are basically jokes. You will never see any of these in PvP. Maybe this one, and even then, it's a miracle if you see it. In PvE, they're actually pretty common. She does possess a skin, so on that aspect, it's pretty nice. I like the skin. It goes really well with like the list of the banned skins, I consider them. For example, we have Hero. I don't remember. I think there's one or two other. There's a Nandor who's playing with a guitar. There's actually a team that has been built on the principle of making it a musical team. I mean, people are having fun. So her skin is actually not bad compared to certain skins. So mine is not maxed out. I'm pretty sure that she might be sub 1. She's +6. I'm just playing around. I have some very strong backliners, and I'm thinking of maybe replacing her with Chitose when I finally do get Duke. So when that happens, I'll see which one I prefer. Leah is a really good penetrator to get the ball out of the backside, especially since in center mid, you're very often going to find Scylla, who's extremely Cilia, who's extremely easy to penetrate with Leah in PvP. I can't think of the last time I saw her blocked. So, as I said, you need to work on the chain. You want some life totems, and you want ideally a dual life ace or a single life ace, but monolight is sadly not that viable. So I'm going to do you a little demonstration. For this, I'm going to remove a player to be sure that they get to my back line. Ideally, do not do this, but just for the point of the argument, I'm going to. So I'm going to remove Malcolm. He's here for the chains mainly, so it doesn't actually make a big difference. Well, it does for my front line, but not for my back. As long as I keep Metatron, because she has the dual element ace, it should all be fine. Here, so PvP, you placed, you can, you need to place. Oh, so I am not allowed to do that. Okay, well, I'm gonna put a joke player, just so we're clear. This is not my actual formation, and this is just for the principle of testing stuff out. Random team. Let's try to get someone who we think might actually penetrate us. Oh, this could maybe. I mean, I did put a joke in mid-line, and my line is not based on speed at all. So this should be completely fine. Metatron, speed. Okay, well, yeah, this should work out for the example. Ironically, it's not the exact front line I was mentioning earlier, but this should be a pretty decent example of how she's going to work. Okay, so I am actually faster than that. Who was not the objective. Okay, I'm just going to give them the ball. Maybe that might actually work out for them. Okay, so I should have checked that they were strong enough to do this. Well, again, as you see right here is Milky Way. And Milky Way has her in chains. So if you're running a Vanchi, having a Milky with a speed chain activated is actually very useful too. That is another use. She's in actually some decent chains, so it's really not that bad. As you see, Lilith in front line is going to be linked. Ah, perfect. No stealing the ball. Okay, well, I guess we're going to do a second match just for the example. This was pretty sad. Yeah, my team runs a lot of chains, so it's kind of normal that stuff like this happens. Okay, let's just hope that this time they're faster than me. Who should be faster than me? Yeah, this is usually a fast line, and they have a passer. Okay, let's see what this gives. So again, as you see, Metatron is my ace, so she's increasing attack power and life points of light and dark players. So it should be fine. Okay, here. That should be penetrated as is a joke player. Oh, and it's a Latio. So we're really going to see the example here as I want them to shoot. So normally I would try to steal, but I'm not going to do it this time. A 2-striker line, that's maybe not the smartest idea when you're running this kind of dual element team. Okay, so what you want to do with her is you want to always use her active. In my case, it's not maxed out, but depending on if your team has a backline spirit generator, you're going to want to max it out, or you're going to want to max out the second passive and make the active the one that's missing the 2 points. So all you got to do is penetrate. As you see, the bonuses are activated. She penetrated and she took barely any damage. And then she's going to penetrate a second time the midline. And there's a very high chance she's going to be able to just wash right through it. So I'm going to see, yeah, 1,020 dribble. She's not well set up. I removed one of the characters that gave her buffs in the lines. So this is normal. But yeah, see, this is what happens when you have one who's not properly set up. Just around 340 dribble. And again, the dribble you saw, 1,020, was before the penetration bonus was another 30%. So it's actually very powerful, but people underrate her because at the beginning of the game, they're going to try her out and they're going to realize she gets instantly destroyed. So again, you want to have her set up on a hype line. Mine isn't even that good. If I were to do a 4-player line, add some Kiki in there, add another hype totem, I could make it even more powerful. Yeah, so again, Vanchi, first strike, never really meant to kill the other guy, and well, I find his backline pretty bad, so this is not going to be that hard. Okay, he might, no, not even. Okay, so it's just over. Well, as you see, that's what happens when you hit my front line. Okay, just, yeah. I'm still working on my Milky Way. I got some new stones. I gotta work on giving her some soups. She's just too weak for the moment. It's extremely frustrating. But she does give the Smile Maker buff, so it's pretty nice. Okay, so I hope that, especially the second match where she actually got a chance to play, you saw her value and you saw what she can actually do when she's set up correctly. And I'm going to change this team back as this is really not how it's supposed to be. But this is all you got to do. You need to have her. You need to have up here one of her 2 affection chains. You got to try have a dual ace because your objective is to get her life to the maximum value possible. And the higher you can get it, the more powerful she will get. Again, here she's +6, but when you +60 her, unlike most players, it's going to make a huge difference because you're not only increasing attack, you're increasing life, who in itself increases attack again. So she's one of those players who at low levels is really bad and becomes very strong. It's one of those. It's like many of these players who their skills are based on one of their stats. Vanchi is one of them, for example. Between a Vanchi +0 and a Vanchi +160, there's a difference of, I think, 6 or 7 speed points. 6 or 7 multiplied by Milky Way, multiplied by the fact that it increases by 20%, it makes actually 14 points that then get again divided by 3 and are going to increase around 50% his attack power and is going to give him around 8 or 9% crit rate. So when you think about it, increasing him not only has increased his stat, increases attack, increases his crit. So like I'm saying, these are the kind of players that require huge investment at the beginning, but once they're invested, they're actually going to shine much better than some of the players who people have been using because they were direct return on investment from day one. So thank you very much, and I hope this answers why actually Leah is not a bad player. It just requires you to set her up correctly, and it's really not that hard. Thank you very much, and if you have any other questions, or you want a specific video posted, just message me either here or on the forums. Have a good day.